Hello, welcome to episode 92 of the Epic Film Challenge to 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. It's the second Dracula review. You can call it Dracula. I'm going to stick with the original title, Horror of Dracula, which they used to differentiate it from the 1930s version as a British film made by Hammer Horror, who are a film company who started to make some horror films. They're around since the 30s, but in the late 50s they started making horror films, I think, or mid-50s. And the year before this, 1957, they made The Curse of Frankenstein, starring Peter Cushing as Baron von Frankenstein and Christopher Lee as Frankenstein's monster. Huge success. It was a big hit. It was a bit of a, what's the word? It was kind of making steps in horror films because it was showing blood more than people were showing blood in horror films in the 50s. Even in this film we're about to talk about, Horror of Dracula, you see some bright red blood kind of spewing out of a wound and stuff, and that was kind of unheard of at the time. They'd either do it in black and white or they'd cut away, things like that. Anyway, The Curse of Frankenstein was a big success, so they tried to repeat that by doing Dracula this time. And I just read this, and this is crazy to me. Can't a yawn count? In the Horror of Dracula, they made the film before they had the rights to even release it. They had to do a deal with Universal, who released the 30s version. I love the fact that they made the film and then made the deal that they could release it afterwards. So they went all in. They're like, we're going to do this. Brought back the same two main guys, Christopher Lee as Dracula himself and Peter Cushing as Dr. Van Helsing. It's a very different film than the 30s version. And, you know, all the films are different from the novel, they're different from each other, there's all these different changes in all the stories. In this one, Jonathan Harker as a character goes to Dracula at the beginning, and then, you know, it goes around, what's my...
I was just laughing because I yawned again and I tried to do it without you noticing.
Oh, right, okay. You yawn all the time when we make these videos. It's a fact of life. We're going to deal with it. It's okay. It doesn't bother me. This film is quite a slow one. It made me yawn a little bit, but I do like it. What did you think?
I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see what you find just okay about it. I thought it was great.
I didn't say it was just okay. I said, because she was asking me as we were watching it, what do you think so far? Because I'd seen it before. I watched it last year. I kind of started to introduce myself to Hammer horror films last October. I watched The Curse of Frankenstein. I watched Horror of Dracula. They went on after this to do The Mummy again with Peter Cushing and then Christopher Lee playing the Mummy. So they did the big three kind of. And loads of sequels as well. I mean, this one, Horror of Dracula, had I think 7 sequels, something ridiculous like that. They made tons of films, and Peter Cushing's in some of them, Christopher Lee's in a lot of them, so they did so many of these films that they made. But these are like the first ones.
Made a sequel of it, and Christopher Lee's in it.
Yep, I don't know how they did it, but I think there are 6 direct sequels to this one. Christopher Lee is in one of them. Van Helsing is in it. I think there's like Brides of Dracula. It just goes on and on and on. And the quality obviously declined from there, and eventually Christopher Lee stopped doing them. But
so that's why it was more like he is Dracula then.
Yeah. I mean, this is a role that really defined Christopher Lee's. I mean, he had a hell of a career.
He's not in it very much.
He's not in it very much. I mean, he's probably not.
He's like Beetlejuice a little bit.
Sure, I'd say Bela Lugosi's Dracula. He's in the film a bit more.
Yeah.
I think that Christopher Lee only has like about 10 lines of dialogue in the whole film.
Which is why I'm saying Beetlejuice, because maybe it was just 10 minutes altogether.
Yeah, maybe not even that. He really isn't in the film that much. It's just very, very brief scenes, but he has an imposing presence. He's a tall guy, and I like how it's different from Bela Lugosi. You know, he just plays. I mean, you don't hear him talk that much, but when you do, just the standard English gentleman, kind of suave and everything with the cape. Well, I guess they all have the cape, but it's a different kind of Dracula.
When he walks really fast away from his castle.
Yeah.
And the cape is
like flowing
behind him. I was just thinking, oh, I want a cape like that.
Yeah.
I want it flowing behind me like that because it looked really badass. Yeah. It looked really cool.
He has the imposing figure. We see the fangs, which we don't see with Bela Lugosi. I think that works. And we have, you don't really see biting that much.
The red eyes as well.
But you do see blood, and you see the marks on the neck, which we didn't see in the 30s version. You see blood, when the stakes go into the hearts of certain characters. And there's a moment, I won't say who it is, but there's a character who's a vampire who gets a stake through the heart. And once that happens, you see how old they really are, and it's an old person lying there. And I thought that was a really cool visual. Like, And yeah, Christopher Lee, he's had an amazing career, made like hundreds of films. He's been in Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, James Bond.
He's so young young in this.
Yeah, he looks very young in this, and he was just
really cool.
an absolute legend. You know, he died a few.
He was a good-looking man.
Yeah, he certainly was.
What happened? Oh, age.
Age, definitely. That's the thing. He's probably one of the most successful actors who had like high-profile success at like a very like late age. I mean, obviously he had success at this point, but like even until his 80s, he was doing like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and all this kind of stuff. It's just crazy how he just kept on becoming a staple of the films that he was, you know, part of. But
he did The Hobbit in 2014.
He did the Hobbit films as well, yeah, a few years before he passed away. I mean, he just kept on going. I think he's the oldest. He has the world record as the oldest person to release a metal album. You know, like it's just there's there's this. They do music and he kind of does like spoken lyrics over it and stuff.
Yeah,
so like I mean, he's just such a badass, such an amazing guy. He had all these stories. He was a secret agent back in the World War days, like that you can't talk about, like or couldn't talk about.
Really?
Yeah, all this stuff. He just.
What year was he born?
Well, I think he was about 90 when he died, but he's old. You know, he was old, I should say. Anyway, all I'm saying is Dracula is a role that defined him as an actor. He was always known for that, and this was the beginning of that. Even though he did the Frankenstein's monster and the Mummy, but Dracula was the big one. Alright, I fact-checked. He was born in 1922 and he was involved in World War II as a young man in his 20s and did military service. As far as I'm aware, he was a part of some sort of secret service that he couldn't talk about after the fact. Anyway, back to the film. I didn't say that it was just okay. I just said it's not an amazing film, but I enjoy it. It has a slow pace to it and things like that.
It's the 50s though. You got to give it credit for that. I mean, if I was alive in the 50s and I watched this in the cinema, I'd be freaking terrified.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because that is like, I mean...
We're so desensitized now to horror films when it comes to
now,
extreme gore and jump scares, you know, it's a completely different time.
Yeah, but this is like, almost like a modern horror movie in a way. With some of the... It's got the cliches and stuff, I guess, but because it's so old... It's probably original, not a cliche.
Well, you never can tell, but yeah.
But it's just the music as well, like in the intro or whatever, the title sequence. I thought the music was horrible, and I started thinking, oh, this is going to be terrible. I'm not going to enjoy this.
Da, da, da. Like just really dramatic, kind of garish music.
Absolutely horrible. And then during the movie, it kind of fit. I didn't really notice it that much. Yeah,
it's not an amazing score.
It had some silent moments as well.
Yeah.
Which fit. And just the creepy music. And like, I would be scared back in the 50s, but now obviously I wasn't scared. But I really appreciated the parts that were supposed to be scary.
Sure.
I like I like Van Helsing better in this one.
Yes.
Maybe because he's younger, but maybe also because everything acting-wise was a lot better.
Yeah, there's weaker acting in the original Dracula when it comes to the side characters. There's still some side characters in this film that are there's some like comedic characters on the side who just were, you know, and a couple of bit parts who just weren't very good. But I do like the main performances in this film, particularly Van Helsing, Peter Cushing. I love Peter Cushing. He's one of my favourite actors. He's just such a class actor, played Grand Moff Tarkin in the original Star Wars. But I just love him in this film, how, I don't know, just how on top of everything he is. I feel like if I had a problem, I would love Peter Cushing's Van Helsing to come in and sort it out for me, because he'd just be like, right, we're going to do this, and you're going to do this, and you know, he's very calm and collected, and you feel like he knows what he's talking about.
When they heard her screaming upstairs.
Yeah.
And the way he dropped everything and just he jumped over the
railings of the stairs.
The railings of the stairs. I was like, Jesus, you know. And also in one of the fights in the end, the way he's jumping up on the table and running. He's really going for it. He's running up the stairs like 3 steps at a time.
Sure.
He really.
He gives it the sense of
He doesn't half-ass it. He puts everything into it.
Yes.
And then he grabs like a light steak, like
he grabs something.
He grabs something, and the way he does it, something falls off it, but he just grabs it, you know.
There's a sense of urgency in his performance when it's called for.
Yeah, I really like the way he just put everything into it, and there's a scene, the blood giving scene. I can say that. It doesn't say who's getting it.
Yeah, that's fine.
They have to transfer blood, obviously.
Yeah,
and that whole scene to me seemed so professional. Like the whole rhythm in it, you know? Because the way
Van Helsing.
Yeah, but the woman who works in the house, the maid or whatever, she's just standing there with like a disinfectant bottle or something, and the way he just turns around and she holds the bottle, and then it's just, it looks so rehearsed, but it doesn't. It looks natural. Like he actually works with that, and I really like that. Then again, so he just carries around all this stuff with him, or what?
Well, yeah, he's a doctor.
Well, yeah, but it was. I like that. It was a nice little extra touch. It wasn't necessary, but it was good. It's
so weird that you said that, because that stood out to me this time. It really did. It's a long scene, maybe about 2 minutes, isn't it?
Very silent too.
Yeah, no real dialogue, and it's two people out doing blood transfusion, as you said, and Peter Cushing, he's snipping off the bandages. He's getting this thing, and he's getting the disinfectant. He's slowly pulling the needles off, and he just looks like.
And he looks at them as well when he pulls the needle out to see what their reaction is in a way.
Yeah.
And his concern seemed real.
And he just looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yes.
And he, like you said, professional. And it's just one of those.
Like they hired a doctor to do this role.
Almost. And it's such a weird thing to pick up on, but we both did, I guess. Where it was just a real believable moment in his performance. I liked in this film how we got a bit more story about the vampires and how it works, because in this film you hear him talk about, he records this kind of
I like the recorder.
Yeah, he had this old school recording device where he's kind of putting down his thoughts on this vampire thing he's trying to investigate, and as he said, he's put his life work into it, and he says how when people get bitten by this vampire, it's only when their blood has been completely drained that they then become the undead. Which is something, I don't know if that's part of the original novel, but in the original Dracula, the 1931 version, it's very unclear as to what happens when someone gets bit. Are they then dead? Are they then a vampire? Is there still hope for them? It kind of just, it doesn't fill you in on that. And I guess it doesn't need to, but I like that we got that information in this film, because then there are certain characters.
Sunlight is fatal.
Yeah, sunlight is fatal. Cannot stress, fatal.
Yes, exactly.
Which plays in very well at a certain part of the film. The ending is spectacular. I love the ending of the film. It's so well done, and it's an iconic moment.
I prefer it to the old one.
Yeah.
Because the old one is like, Dracula wouldn't do that, I feel, you know?
Yeah, the 30s version, it ends on quite a... I don't know if we even mentioned this, it ends on quite a bum note. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, so go...
Oh yeah, that definitely just ruined
the ending of the 31 Dracula, the Van Helsing's like, okay, go out there and I'll meet you in a minute. And they go out there, and then the film just ends, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, where are you going?
Whereas this one has a spectacular ending, and there's a great final shot as the credits roll as well. I really like the ending, but
plus they didn't make it clear or not if Mina was okay in the last one.
That's right,
they didn't. First one. They didn't make it clear that, is she okay? Is
right,
she still? Is she
which might be spoiling things, but who cares really? I mean,
no, because you won't know
until
you watch it.
Yeah.
Was she okay? Or was
this version, things are more clear. Let's put it that way. But they're two completely different films. I mean, they look different, they feel different. They're different takes on the story.
But. Not only do I like the story a lot more in this one, and the acting, and to me it wasn't too long either.
No.
I did almost fall asleep at some point, but I was loving the movie.
Sure.
So it's just because I was really tired.
Yeah.
And I'm loving this review as well, so just because I yawn doesn't mean it's boring.
Yeah.
I just do. I liked the cutting of just the editing in general. Like there was a part where someone says the name of a place, an address.
Yeah.
And he's just reading the name, and in the next shot you see the address, like on the wall or the door or whatever, and then it pans down to the person being at that address. So that was a really cool thing.
Nice.
Also, someone is supposed to be screaming.
Yeah.
But it cuts to an owl screaming.
That was a really good bit, yeah.
That was a really cool one. There was something else as well, but I can't remember. But that happened quite a lot. Not too often. It was just often enough for you to appreciate it every time it happened.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't even think about it, but I like to notice those kind of things.
Yeah.
So the editing was done well.
Yeah.
And it's the 50s. 51?
58.
50. Oh, right. Would have been better 52. The older the better, because...
It was made in 1876. Best film ever.
I'd like to see a movie from then, but that's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's got so many great things about it. Of course, it's got its flaws as well.
Sure, yeah.
I liked Helsing better than Sir Lee.
You didn't like Christopher Lee?
I did.
Oh, you just prefer Peter Cushing? Yeah, sure.
Maybe because he was in it like 80% of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, not 80, but...
No, actually, that takes a while, actually. I think he doesn't come into the film at least till 20-25 minutes, but after that...
Yeah, but he's in it so much that, you know...
And it's not a very showy performance either. I mean, a lot of the time he's just there to give information to the audience, really, but he just does it so well, and so crisply, you know.
You can tell that he wants to do well in the movie, with the way he goes, just all the physical things he does.
Yeah.
I guess.
And that's not like lifting things, just the way that he interacts with everything, just like picking up objects and putting it in his pocket, and you know, just I don't know. There's something very
believable.
Believable, yes, with his physical performance as well.
It's like he's not acting in a way sometimes.
Yeah. And that's probably the highest compliment you can pay an actor, I think.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it. Is it a film you must see before you die? That is an interesting question. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna watch a Dracula movie, you gotta watch this one.
Well, I'm really surprised that you liked it as much as you
Well, I do really like now the older one as well.
Yeah.
And because it's the classic and stuff, you should watch that one. Maybe I don't know if they're on the same level of yesness or not.
Okay, yeah.
Because this one's like, I hadn't heard about it.
True.
I didn't know about it. I didn't know he was Dracula.
Right, yeah. I mean,
You know?
a lot of people do, but then a lot of people don't at the same time.
But I thought it was a better movie. But the older one was older.
Sure.
He's 31, and so you got to take that into account.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate what they did with it back then.
I mean, this is a story that's been done in film so many times, and they will continue to remake it and reimagine it over and over and over again. And to kind of say which one's better, you know, they're so completely different. They're so completely different, from down to the look, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it feels, the way it's performed.
It's almost like the Jungle Book. Like, the Disney is the classic.
Right.
And you have to watch that one. The new one, I don't think will ever be a classic, even though I enjoy the story better.
Okay.
And I kind of enjoyed it better, just like you did.
Okay.
I don't think it's a movie you should watch before you die.
Alright, okay.
But the old Jungle Book is.
Okay.
So it's
But you still think this is a film you should see before you die?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But, like, you should prioritize the old one first.
Okay.
Just to, you know, having seen the old one. It's like you shouldn't watch a Dracula movie and not watch the old ones.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, right.
So,
Right,
I could go on, I guess.
I guess you could, yeah. It's a yes from me too. And screw it, we've been talking for so long. What's another couple of minutes? I mean, I think the three big Dracula films, if you look at it from era and stuff, I mean, there's been so many, but the ones that kind of stand out the most are the 30s version with Bela Lugosi, this one in the 50s with Christopher Lee, and then in the 90s, Francis Ford Coppola made his big version with Gary Oldman as Dracula, Anthony Hopkins, big cast.
Oh, I gotta see that one now.
Yeah, and I don't love that film. There's some bad acting in that as well. It's another different version of it. That's a version which sticks to the original novel, where Dracula starts out as an really old man, and he gets younger as the film goes on. So I mean,
tell me the bad acting isn't from those two main characters.
The bad acting's from Keanu Reeves. Like,
oh right,
holy shit, holy shit.
Okay.
But that one for me isn't a film I see before. That film it's enjoyable fun, but it doesn't, you know, it's just something that I didn't love about it. So to me, I do think these two, the 30s version and the 50s version, are both films you should see before you die. Like you said, probably prioritize the 30s version as kind of the classic, you know, iconic film version of it. But
it's kind of like have the appetizer before you eat your dinner.
I don't know which one I think is a better film though. I really don't.
No, but I think this one became better because I'd already seen the old one.
Sure, you got a comparison then.
Yeah, no, well, I am, but I just like that I kind of knew the story with those people before I watched this one.
Okay, yeah.
And I like comparing because
this
one elevated it, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like the Jungle Book.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough because I really like both versions. I really do. I guess what tips it for me is definitely Peter Cushing, because I just love him. And
the acting.
In the acting. So yeah, I would say that I probably prefer this one just a little bit over the 30s one. While I prefer the way that the 30s one looks, like the style of it and everything.
And certain scenes, like when he's
scenes.
in the living room talking to Mina.
Mm.
and the mirror thing.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Yeah, so yeah, they're both great, I think, and both films you should see before you die. So there we go. Next, we'll be talking about. Well, I'll be talking about the 2 Nosferatu films. We get to go to a different, creepier version of Dracula, and these are the only 2 Dracula films.
I'll play Tetris in the background while you play that. Because I want to be in the room when you watch it.
Okay.
And I just want to look up and see, like, yeah, he's still that ugly.
So, join me in the next one for Nosferatu. This has been the 2 Dracula films, and thank you for watching.
Fun, 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 fun. Some people will understand where that's from.
Where is that from?
It's that little kid that's playing the bassoon or something. It's like an advert, and it's like a kid playing a bassoon, and he goes, fun, 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 or something. It's really creepy.
A Norwegian advert?
No, it's American.
Okay.
YouTube it.
These are getting so off topic.
The bassoon.
These are getting so off topic. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
And when I'm with friends, I like to have fun, 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 fun!